Hi everyone, my name is Nithin and welcome back to PSLE Science, where I'll be going through seed dispersal in this video today. Okay, let's get started. Okay, for the first segment of this video, I'm going to go through what is seed dispersal. Okay, so what is seed dispersal? Okay, seed dispersal is the process where seeds in the fruit of a plant are carried further away from the parent plant. Okay, and this helps to prevent overcrowding amongst the plants. Okay, so the seeds are being carried further away from the parent plant, right? So I'll explain why it is carried further away from the parent plant later on in this video. And now let's take a look at this word over here, overcrowding. So this helps to prevent overcrowding. And now let's take a look at what is overcrowding. Okay? Okay, what is overcrowding? Okay, overcrowding is basically the situation where seeds germinate and form young plants close to each other, which causes the plants to grow less healthily. Okay, so germinate. Can you remember the conditions for the plant to germinate? Okay, I hope you remember from my plant cycle video. Okay, so basically it's the acronym WOW, right? So water, oxygen, and lastly warmth. So these are the three conditions for a seed to germinate. Okay, why does the plant grow less healthily when there's overcrowding? Because basically, let me show you. So when there's a space between the plants, right? So when there's a space when we are writing, so when the plant grows with a big space, so one seed planted here and another seed, so there's a lot of space, right? So this is a non-overcrowding place. Okay, so these are two seeds far apart from each other. And what about an overcrowding place? Okay, so overcrowding is like all the seeds are very close to each other. So let me give you an example while drawing a plant. So for the non-overcrowding plant, the plant will have a very thick stem. Okay, it will have a very thick stem. And it will also have leaves. So this is just an example, okay? So this plant actually has a thick stem, okay? And it's also very short. And it has a thick stem. Do you know why? Because since the plants are spaced very far from each other, the plant can actually grow shorter and more healthier. You know why? So when the stems are thicker, right, it means the plant is more healthy and is more strong and there's more support. And for overcrowding, the stems are actually really thin. Okay? And then there's a leaf here. And then there's a leaf here. And because it's very thin, right, they grow taller as well. So there's a big height difference. So basically this is taller. And it is a thin stem. Okay, basically, right, when there are many plants, right, they'll compete to grow the tallest, okay? Because they are competing for sunlight. Okay, I understand that. They are competing for sunlight as well. And like all plants do, they are also competing for water and mineral salts in their roots. Okay? And this plant does not need to compete for water and mineral salts because they are spaced really far apart and they get watered every day, right? And since they are spaced very close to each other, They are watered near the same area, and thus they have to compete for water and mineral salts. Okay, and so that's why the non-overcrowding is basically healthier. And another reason for overcrowding, right, the stems can break easily. So basically when the wind blows, right, the stems might just snap off. That's how thin they are. So the plant will die faster. So we need a healthy stem, right? So we need to place the seeds far apart from each other when we are planting them. Okay, so understand that, and these types of questions will come out in exam. So you have to understand the concept behind overcrowding. Okay, so let's move on to the next segment. Okay, so you might have recognized that I have used the word compete for sunlight when I was explaining for the overcrowding, right? So what is competition? So I'm going to explain that right now. Okay, so competition. So what is competition? So competition actually refers to an activity that takes place between the parent plant and the seedling due to the limited essential conditions for survival in a given area. So they compete for sunlight, they compete for water and mineral salts. Okay, so basically they compete for nutrients. There are many things, okay? So basically it could be a parent plant and seedlings. There could be many plants over there, and they are basically competing because they are having overcrowding. Okay, so since there are many plants, right, just imagine all these sticks are plants. So imagine like this is the soil and all these sticks are plants. Okay, just imagine. So these all are trees. Okay, and then there's little seedlings as well, right? Since the trees are taller, the seedlings are blocked by the tree's leaves, right? And so the seedling itself does not receive enough sunlight while the trees do. And the seedling also receives lesser water and mineral salts and nutrients due to the tree's roots as well, because they all get water equally, right? So all the plants here are supposed to share, but they're competing to get more because they need to grow, right? So this is what I mean by competition. So I hope you understand that term. So now let's move on, and I'm going to show you the importance of seed dispersal. Okay, so the importance of seed dispersal. So you really need to know this, and this is really important, and this actually has a template answer to it. So this is a template answer I'm going to give you right now. Okay, so basically what you need to explain, seeds need to be dispersed further away from the parent plant to reduce overcrowding and competition. You just learned this just now. Let me just highlight these two words. These are important words, okay? And disperse further away from the parent plant is also a key phrase. Next, between the parent plant and the seedlings for swans. Okay, this swans is actually an acronym. Okay, so swans basically means space, water, air, nutrients, and sunlight. So these are the things basically plants compete for. So plants compete for swans. So you have to memorize swans acronym, okay? And you need to know it by heart because you need to know what they compete for. So they compete for space as well, you know, because to grow a thicker stem, to grow taller as well, and all this to ensure for healthier growth. Understand? So this is the importance of seed dispersal. So let me read it once. So seeds need to be dispersed further away from the parent plant to reduce overcrowding and reduce competition between the parent plant and the seedlings for space, water, air, nutrients, and sunlight, ensuring healthier growth of the plants. Okay, so you need to know this. Now let's move on. Okay, for the fifth segment of this video, I'm going to go through the effects of overcrowding. Okay, and I'm going to do this by explaining a question. Okay, so let's read the question first. So, Mrs. Lim filled 4 similar pots A, B, C, D with equal amounts of soil. Okay? She then placed some seedlings of the same height into each pot. The 4 pots were placed near the window where they could receive sunlight and air. The same amount of water was given to the 4 pots of seedlings daily. The table below shows the number of seedlings in each pot at the start of the experiment. So for pot A, there was 20. It clearly has the most number, right? And B is 10, C is 6, and D is 3. And 3 is the least. So we can rank most to least by A, B, C, D, right? So basically, when there's lesser plants, right, there's less competition and less overcrowding with the same size of a pot, right? So you have to understand this. So imagine there's a pot. Imagine just 20 seedlings over here. There's like a lot of overcrowding, right? So this is very unhealthy for the plants. Okay, and imagine another pot with just maybe 3, yeah, like pot D, okay, with just 3 seedlings, and there's a lot of space between each other, and this is healthy. Okay, so this is basically we need to explain overcrowding and competition. Okay, so I hope you understand that. Now let's take a look at the actual question. So let's read the question. From the table above, which pot was most likely to produce the tallest adult plants after 5 days? Okay, remember what I said about overcrowding? So when there's competition, right, basically, right, the plants will grow taller in order to receive more sunlight. And this occurs because of overcrowding. And which one has the most amount of overcrowding is the one which has the most number of seeds. So basically it is pot A. So pot A will have the tallest adult plants after 5 days. Okay, so pot A. So plants are living things and will respond to changes around them. So basically this is talking about the overcrowding and competition, right? So they respond to change and grow according to what they need. So the presence of sunlight is an important condition for plants to grow well. This is because the leaves of the plant have chloroplasts, which contain chlorophyll that traps sunlight in the process of photosynthesis to make food. Therefore, plants will go towards the light to absorb the sunlight needed to make food. So That's why pot A has the greatest number of seedlings, causing the seedlings in pot A to have most competition for sunlight. This will cause the seedlings to grow taller in order to avoid being blocked by the adjacent plant. Okay? So that the plants which are growing taller, right, would not block them and they won't get sunlight. So they don't want the plant to block them. That's why they compete and grow taller. So it's basically they are having a competition who can grow the tallest to have the most amount of sunlight. So thus pot A would have seedlings with the thinnest and longest stems as compared to those in the other pots. On the other hand, pot D has the least number of seedlings. Therefore, the seedlings are likely to have the thickest and shortest stems as compared to those in other pots. Pot A would most likely to produce the tallest adult plants after 5 days. So a week is 5 days as well. Okay, so this is a very important question. They will definitely ask these types of questions. So just put a star beside this. If they don't ask this type of question, right, they will show this type of question in another question. Okay, so just take note of this question. Now let's move on. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the 4 methods of seed dispersal, like I promised. So the 4 methods of seed dispersal. So there's actually 4 methods, like I said: wind, water, animal, and explosive action. Okay, let's take a look at wind first. So these characteristics over here are actually for the seed of fruit. Okay, so the seed of fruit of a wind dispersed seed of fruit basically needs to have a wing-like structure and not a wind-like structure. Many students write wind-like structure. Do not write wind-like structure, write wing-like structure. Okay, and also a feather-like structure. So there are many types of structure. There's a wing-like structure, there's feather-like structure. So there's basically many types, and it is also very light. And how does the pattern of these seeds moving? So basically the location of the seeds, it goes in the direction of the wind. Okay, so when they are being dispersed, right, the seeds are actually flying or basically gliding. So this is an example of a seed, of a wind dispersed seed. So when the wind is coming this way, right, it goes in the direction of the wind. Okay, understand that. So next, for water dispersed seed or fruit, basically it needs to have a fibrous husk and waterproof. So fibrous husk actually traps air, okay, and that helps to float up. As you know, right, if you turn over a cup and put it through water, and when you turn over the cup in the water itself, you can see many air bubbles coming up, and that's why air floats, because air is less dense than water, and that's why it flows. And when the fibrous husk actually traps air, which is less dense than water, it actually helps the fibrous husk to float. And the fruit or seed actually needs to be waterproof as well, so that it can float, and basically water resistance. Okay, and the location of the seeds is basically on land near the water bodies, because it went on the current of the river or water bodies, and it won't end up on the shoreline of that piece of land. Okay, oh yeah, I forgot to explain about the wind-like structure and the feather-like structure, right? So both of these structures actually have air resistance. So when they are dropped from a high place, right, so basically these these are seeds of fruits actually can glide in the air. So they can glide because there's air pushing upwards and creating air resistance, and thus when there's more air resistance, right, basically the seed, right, will actually float in the air for a longer period of time, and it will glide very far as well, because that's how the seeds are meant to be. So if you search many videos on YouTube, you can actually see how the seeds are being dispersed and how long they actually survive in the air. And that's why this creates a good far distance away from the parent plant. But the disadvantage of this is basically when there's very less wind, right? The seeds can't actually go really far away from the plant. When there's a lot of wind, the seeds fly really far away. Okay? And by water, I have already explained this. Now let's move on to animal. So animal, there's two types. First is indigestible seeds, and next is hook-like structure. So for indigestible seeds, right, the animal, when they are eating the fruits, right, they basically, sometimes if the seeds are very small and indigestible, right, they basically swallow them. Okay, so imagine a bird is eating a fruit, so it basically swallows the small indigestible seeds. So when the bird is flying to another place, it actually poops out the thing, right? So we call it feces, and basically this feces actually acts as a fertilizer for the seeds as well, and it helps the plant to grow better as well. And it's also really far away from the plant, but we can't tell. Maybe if a monkey ate the fruit, maybe he could have just stayed around there for a very long time, and maybe he just pooped it out, gave feces basically near that same place. So basically we can't say. That's why we can always say it's found randomly. So you don't know how close or how far away from the parent plant it is. Okay, and there's another type of indigestible seed. So I've talked about the small indigestible seeds, and there is the large indigestible seeds. So if you're eating mango, right, mango has a very large seed, right? So imagine if a monkey is eating a mango, right, it won't eat the mango where there's a mango tree. It will go far away from the mango tree, right, because it doesn't want any other monkeys to steal its mango. So it will go far away and hide somewhere, and then it will eat it, and then it can't actually do anything about that large mango seed, right? So it will actually just throw it away or just spit it out, and that creates a seed dispersal as well. And that's why it's also again found randomly on land. And this hook-like structure, right, you know, animals when they are walking by, right, this hook-like structure could actually like catch on hook on to the fur of the animals, and when the animals go really far away, it might just drop off on its own. And this creates a seed dispersal as well, which is found randomly on land as well, because we don't know where it is actually going to drop off, right? Yeah. And lastly, we have explosive action, and this, I might say, is the worst of them all, because it is clustered so closely to the parent plant. So basically it has a pod-like structure for characteristics. Basically when it's really ripe, right, it will actually explode, but you can't write explode in the exam. So it's an exploding like action. Okay, so you can see like explode, basically pop up, and all the seeds forcefully are going out. So you can actually see the seeds like coming out, and you'll like fly at least like 1 meter around there. I can't say basically, but it depends on the type of plant, and it's so forcefully, right, you can hear the sound as well. You go and land, and basically this is clustered really close together, and basically like maybe like peas, you could say peas, right? Explosive action for peas, yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I hope you understand that. And so these are the 4 methods of seed dispersal. Now let's move on. Okay, so let me go through the seed dispersal template structure. So whenever an examiner asks about a seed dispersal question, you can basically answer the question with this seed dispersal template structure. Okay, so let's take a look at the steps. Okay, for the first step, we have to state the special characteristics of the seed or fruit. Like I said, you have to know the characteristics, like pod-like structure, wing-like structure, feather-like structure, hook-like structure, indigestible seeds. All these are special characteristics. And after that, we have to explain how the special characteristics help the seed or fruit to be dispersed further away from the parent plant, right? And for the third step, we have to describe the dispersal pattern of the seeds or fruits, basically whether they are randomly scattered or clustered together, they are going in the wind direction, or they are found on the land, basically following the river current or water body's current. Yeah, we have to explain this, and we have to describe that. And for fourth step, we have to explain the process of germination. Basically we have to explain wow. So wow, right? You remember wow for germination. Explain that. The suitable conditions to germinate, basically. Yeah. And lastly, we have to explain the importance of seed dispersal. Remember, I went through it. So this is the template answer. Remember, the dispersal of seeds help to reduce overcrowding and reduce competition for space, water, and nutrients and sunlight. Basically, these are swans. Okay, remember the acronym. So let me just write it down at the side. Swans. Okay, ensuring healthier growth of the plants. Okay, so this is the seed dispersal template structure, and you have to remember this by heart. Okay, and now let's move on to the actual seed dispersal methods, and I'll explain you. Okay, so first, dispersal by wind. Okay, so these are some examples of some seeds basically dispersed by wind. So we have the angsana, the shoria, the sycamore, and the dandelion. So these are just some examples. So you can all see that they have like wing-like structures or feather-like structures, right? Yeah. Next. So for step 1, we need to explain the special characteristics. So basically they are light, wing-like, hair-like, feather-like. Okay, so this is hair-like structure. This is so we base on what type of plant it is. So if it's like for the shoria, right, we can say it's a wing-like structure, and maybe for the dandelion we can say hair-like structure. Okay, so we state this special characteristics. Next, for step 2, we must explain how the special characteristics help the seed or fruit to be dispersed further away from the parent plant. Okay, so the wing-like structure increases the exposed surface area of the seed or fruit in contact with the surrounding air, and this increases the amount of air resistance acting on the seed. So basically, so if this is the seed, right, so there's basically air resistance where the air pushes the seed up. So that's why it has the wing-like or feather-like or hair-like structures. Okay, so basically allowing the seed to float in the air for a longer period of time and disperse further away from the parent plant. Basically what I just taught you just now. Okay, third step, describe the dispersal pattern of the seeds or fruits. So they are dispersed in the direction of the wind further away from the parent plant. Okay, you should know this. And step 4 and 5 basically just refer to the template structure that I've already shown you. Okay, now let's move on to the next dispersal method. Okay, dispersal by water. Okay, so we have some fruits like coconut, the pong, and the nipa fruit. Okay, so all of these are dispersed by water, and all of these have special characteristics like the fibrous husk and the waterproof outer covering. Okay, so like I said, fibrous husk traps air, allowing it to float, and waterproof outer covering gives water resistance so that it does not absorb water and sink down, instead it floats. Okay, so I hope you still remember what I said verbally, and you have to keep that in mind, you know. So that's why when you're writing all these steps, you can actually remember everything. Okay, so for step 2, explain how the special characteristics help the seed or fruit to be dispersed further away from the parent plant. The fibrous husk helps the seed to trap air, allowing the seed to be able to float on water and be dispersed further away from the parent plant. Like I said before. Step 3, describe the dispersal pattern of the seeds or fruits. The seeds or fruits are dispersed in the direction of the river flow further away from the parent plant, or dispersed by the water current along the shoreline. Like I said, so all of this I actually went through, and this is just a quick recap for you guys to remember and keep it in your brain. Okay, and like I said, step 4 and 5 just refer to the template structure that I have provided in this video as well. Okay, now let's move on to the next dispersal method. Yeah, okay, so for animals, right, there are two types of dispersal method, like I said. So one is for the indigestible seeds and another is for the hook-like structure. So let's take a look at the type 1. So for type 1 animals, so some of the things that I can show you for indigestible seeds are like the papaya. They have small seeds. Honeydew also has small seeds. Like I said, mango, I gave you an example of mango, right? They have very large seeds. And also durian, when you eat durian, right, you also see that they have very large seeds as well. So these are like just examples, so keep this in mind. So if they ask for examples in exam, right, just remember these examples and you can state these examples in exam. So for the special characteristics of the fruit with small or large seeds, so basically the flesh, they have a fleshy and juicy, they are fleshy and juicy fruits. Okay, that's why it will attract the animals to eat the fruit. And all the small indigestible seeds will be swallowed, like I said, and it will be passed out as waste, as feces, and that will actually act as a fertilizer, like I said, which will help to improve the plant growth, basically. Yeah, and large seeds will be spat out or thrown away, and this will also like seed dispersal, basically. And for step 2, you have to explain how the special characteristics help the seed or fruit to be dispersed further away from the parent plant. And basically we can say the fleshy and juicy fruits attract animals to feed on them. And the difference between small seeds and large seeds, right? For step 3, basically, the small and digestible seeds are swallowed and passed out together as waste further away from the parent plant. And for the large seeds, the animal carries the fruits further away from the parent plant before eating it. The large indigestible seeds are spat out further away from the parent plant as well. Yeah, and step 4 and 5 are the same. Just copy from the template answer. Okay, so I hope you understand. So this is for type 2. Okay, still type 1. So now I'm going to give you a question and explain this. Okay, so this is for type 1 and I'm going to show you how the passing out of seeds with the animals waste is actually beneficial for the plant. I've said this a million times because the plant, right, when it's passed out as waste, right, the waste materials actually they undergo decomposition, where they are broken down into simpler substances and returned to the soil as mineral salts. So basically they act as fertilizer for the young plants, man. So that's why the plants can actually grow well and more healthier. Okay, and since I went through this question, now let's take a look at step 3. So describe the dispersal pattern of the seeds or fruits. So the dispersal pattern is basically they are dispersed randomly around the location. Okay, and like I said, step 4 and 5 just refer to this template structure. And let's move on to type 2 of the dispersal by animals. Okay, so for dispersal by animals, we have type 2 basically, which is the hook-like structure. So we have love grass, the mimosa, burdock, and cockabur. So all these have hook-like structures. So the special characteristics are hook-like structure or stiff hairs. Step 2, explaining the special characteristic. The hook-like structures of the seed or fruits allow them to be attached to their hair, feathers of animals, outer covering basically. The seed or the fruits are then carried further away from the parent plant. When animals move to seeds or fruits, will then fall off the outer covering of the animals and be dispersed further away from the parent plant. So like I said verbally before this, same thing. Yeah, the seeds and fruits are dispersed randomly around the location. I said this also. And lastly, step 4 and 5, just copy from the template structure, okay, and you just need to refer to it, okay. And now for the last method, we have explosive action. So dispersal by explosive action. So if you don't understand this yet, let me explain better now. So the balsam explodes the balsam is dispersed by explosive action, the rubber fruit, saga, and pea as well. Okay, for step 1, to state the special characteristics. So there's basically a pod-like structure. See, there's a pod-like structure, pod-like structure. See, there's a pod-like structure. See, I can even show you over here. See, it's like in compartments, right? Let me just show you. So basically, right, all these compartments will like break off, like they'll basically like break off when they are exploding with like force. They are not exploding, you can't say exploding, but with explosive action lah, basically. Yeah. And basically over here there's also a pod-like structure, and this explodes into 3. So this explodes like, so basically on the weak, there's basically like weak lines, right? So all the weak lines will like, so imagine if this is the weak line, right? So it's basically going outwards and with a lot of force. So basically these things, right, or the fruit is the seeds inside, right, will basically explode with a lot of force and it will come out. But remember, never write explode in your exam. So if they ask for the 4 methods of seed dispersal, you write wind, water, animal, but you just can't write explode. You can write explosive action or also splitting method. Splitting action. Okay, you can write which one you're comfortable with. For me, I'm more comfortable with explosive action. Okay, and then explaining the special characteristics. So the pod-like structure of the fruit splits open when the fruit is ripe. Like I said, throwing the seeds forcefully around the parent plant. Okay, and how to describe the dispersal pattern of the seeds or fruits. Basically, the seeds will be clustered around the parent plant. Okay, so it will be clustered around the parent plant because it's forcefully splitting. And then the last step 4 and 5, you just need to refer to the template structure that I went through previously. And with this, I have come to the end of my video, and I hope you'll understand seed dispersal in a deeper manner today. And thank you and bye bye. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.